Spin it. Twist it. Spin it.
Hi, I'm Joanna, and I taught the Intro Tech Fan class at Spring Wildfire this year. So, what we want to do is we want to start thinking about fans in a more techie aspect. That was the entire goal of the course. And so, the big thing that differentiates fans from other props is the grips. So, there's kind of this real standard grip that you have when you take the fan, shake your hand with it, and then that's going to be kind of the comfortable grip for your fan. From there, you can take a really loose grip of that same fan, and this opens up a ton of things like pendulums, for example, and you can turn it around with your pendulums, essentially do them anywhere you want, and then that also opens up other things like finger spinning, which can open up buzzsaws. The whole thing about finger spinning is it's all timing, and so you just want to feel that pulse. And it's easiest to learn when you're feeling the pulse against gravity, so you can kind of do the finger spinning bouncy dance if it helps. Finger spinning and using fans, they're metal, they can really chafe. If you're practicing a lot, I tend, especially when I'm teaching, I tend to wrap my fingers. It's electrical tape, it's nothing fancy. And that really helps with avoiding blisters. So that's also a tip if you're interested. We talked about that a bit. And that also opens up, combining those two kind of ideas, opens up other moves like this, where you're just doing a long arm extension with a single finger spin in the middle. So you can just keep playing with all of that stuff. Then we also talked about a very different style of the fans, of moving fans. So far we've just been kind of talking about being very loose, letting the fans spin around each other. But what happens, what can we do when we hold them tight and make patterns with them in that manner? So we talked about starting from the bottom, isolating up through the center, coming back down, isolating through on different planes and through different lines, and seeing how that looks. So we talked a lot about that. And then one of the last topics we talked about was hinging. And so that's when you take fans, hold them in a certain plane, open them up to a different plane. You can also open them up within the same plane if you want, and it creates a very different look. And also something like this. Lastly, we just kind of for fun tied it together with some pirouettes to get people used to moving while they're spinning with a more techie aspect. So we went over how to do a windmill. Timing in windmills is important. If you're more familiar with the term reel, this is really just a shoulder reel. And so the timing is 1 and 2 and. Notice with 1, all of my 1 beats are in front of me, all of my 2 beats are behind me. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then you just get that to a nice steady pattern and focus on your planes. So from there, from a windmill, we have a lot open to us because notice that we can open up at any point and start going into pirouettes. And so we covered the foot movement for pirouettes. For that big arm pirouette, it's a step out, step back to your original point. And we also covered little cute tiny pirouettes like this one. And so thank you for being interested in the Intro to Tech Fan class at Wildfire this year. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Facebook.